All right, we're recording. Oh,
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go right into the special hearing.
into the hearings.
Yeah.
Public hearings.
So at this time, we have a couple, is it two special hearings?
Two. Yeah.
Yeah, at this time, we have two special hearings. Public hearing on ordinance 1172, and then we have a conditional use for request of the Switchback Pizza Company. So at this time, I will turn it over to Attorney Dinkelauer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. President. We're going to have a hearing pursuant to the requirements of the municipality's planning code with respect to proposed ordinance number 1172. And the purpose of the hearing is to receive public input and public comment. Nobody's placed under oath. There's no stenographer. And what we'll do is I'll just run through just some of the procedural background for the ordinance, turn it over to council for comment, and then to the public for any comment that the public has. We'll then close the hearing, and then the council will act on the ordinance possibly tonight in due course. So ordinance number 1172 is an ordinance that amends the height of fences. It's really pretty narrow. All it does is it says that the 6-foot fence height can be raised to 8 feet for nursing homes, personal care facilities, and other permitted and licensed facilities that provide housing, and then outdoor areas for patients who suffer from Alzheimer's and other forms of memory impairment. And what it allows basically is if the fence is 5 feet from the property line and it's not located in the front yard, the height can go from what's normally required, which is 6 feet, a 6-foot maximum. It can go up to, I believe it's up to 8 feet. So I would imagine that the intent is to provide some privacy for the people who are in those facilities, along with some extra security. So with that, from a procedural standpoint, the borough ran the advertisement on May 30 and June 6 to meet the requirements of the MPC. Notice of the hearing tonight was provided to the Southwest Comprehensive Plan Group, which are the 5 municipalities that the borough is in a group with. The comments basically that were received from the municipalities were either that these were matters of local concern or no comment, or that they were consistent with the Southwest Comprehensive Plan. We also sent these to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, draft of the ordinance, and to the borough's Planning Commission. Again, no substantive comments, simply that they're matters of local concern, and the Borough Planning Commission recommended approval of the ordinance. Let's see. The newspaper ad is also available, which follows the requirements of the MPC. So, Mr. President, I would advise that everything's in order, and that if council wishes to discuss it, and whatever point you'd like to open up for comment from the citizens, we can go ahead and do that.
Why don't we open it for public comment first,
Okay.
and then we'll go to the council.
All right, starting on the side of the room closest to the railroad tracks, is there anybody who would like to get up and comment on the proposed ordinance? Okay, there being no one, how about on the other side of the room? Is there anybody who wishes to comment? Okay, thank you. Well, doesn't appear to be any comment.
Okay. And does anybody from council have a question regarding the ordinance? Councilman Barrett?
So just for clarification, the amendment that we're making here is just for, as it's stated, nursing homes and other types of facilities housing patients with Alzheimer's, dementia, and memory impairments. It doesn't expand any other impairments. It doesn't.
In fact, the way West the ordinance is drafted is there are 3 exceptions. Well, there are presently 2 exceptions to the regular height, which is 6 feet.
Right.
And this is just adding another exception, and it's a very limited exception to those types of facilities. And again, I think the intent is probably privacy and safety.
Okay. So there are some homes that are converted to, what is the special, is the, for lack of a better term, some other.
A group home?
A group, yeah, I mean, it is, I guess you could call it a group home. Would this apply to them if they had memory, if their reason for being there was memory issues, dementia, anything like that?
Well, it specifically references the introductory language is a fence located in a residential district in a location other than a required front yard shall have a maximum height of 6 feet except. So I believe that this would apply. It says nursing homes, personal care facilities, or any other permitted and licensed facility housing and providing outdoor areas. So, I think it's going to depend on how you construe facility, but I would suggest that a group home is probably going to fall within this and may well be permitted to do that.
As long as it's permitted or licensed?
Yes, as long as it's permitted and licensed, yes.
Okay.
And under the law, when you're dealing with group homes, to avoid any fair housing issues, you basically have to treat a group home the same way that you would for any other type of a residential property in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's precisely why I'm asking, is
Right.
that it does open up, I mean, obviously, we would treat them the same way, which is why I feel that this would naturally open that up to if it is something that is in the middle of a neighborhood, which there are a
Yeah.
fair amount of them in.
Well, I think that is a way that you could read it. It could open it up, but again, it would have to be licensed and providing, permitted and licensed facilities providing outdoor recreation space. And so it may well be the backyard of a facility that's a group home that provides those services.
Yeah.
Anybody else from council? So do we move to the second public hearing then?
Yes, the second hearing is going to be on a conditional use request by the Switchback Pizza Company at 525 Jubilee Street in Emmaus. The applicant is requesting a craft beverage restaurant in accordance with the zoning ordinance, and my understanding is that the applicant desires to manufacture, distill, I'm not sure how you do it, but it'll be mead. And sir, you're welcome to come up to the microphone and present what it is that you would like to do.
Yeah, so we would like to make hard cider.
Oh, hard cider, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. And we could either be a brewery or a winery through licensing in Pennsylvania. So we would be making hard cider.
Okay. And where are you going to be manufacturing the hard cider?
In the building, there's an apartment that's part of the building, and so we'd be changing a firewall. We have the plans, and that bedroom, it's a bedroom in the apartment right now, and it would be converted to like our fermenting room for the hard cider. Hard cider doesn't get heated up. We just ferment it cold, and so it doesn't really need much infrastructure.
Okay, now, just for council's understanding and consideration, you're going to be in the BC zoning district, and I think under our ordinance, in the BC zoning district, you're limited to 30,000 gallons annually. Is that within, are you within that number?
Absolutely. I mean, to start out, we are expecting to be very small, maybe estimating 1,500 gallons the first year. The production that we would be able to do in that building would be very small if we,
Right.
as we, hopefully it is popular, we will be looking for a space to.
And hopefully you're going to still do your pizza, right? Is
Yes,
that-
absolutely. Yeah, it's not really going to change much about our restaurant. It's just we'll be able to serve our cider and have local wine and distilled products and local beer as well.
Okay. And just for the record, can we have your name, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Marguerite Viola. I'm one of the owners.
Oh, okay, Marguerite. And your address is the same as the
It
pizzeria?
is. Yes. We live
Okay.
in the apartment.
Can you just give us that address for the record,
Yep,
please?
it is 525 Jubilee Street, Emmaus, 18049.
Okay. And there are a couple requirements in the zoning ordinance. One is that you have to have sufficient off-street parking, and I think it's 40 square feet, one off-street space for 40 square feet of total floor area. Can you give us some idea what your parking situation is going to be?
Well, right now we currently have 6 spots for the restaurant and the apartment. And I believe, talking to Jim Farnsworth, that covers, we won't be having any more seating. There will be no more additional seating. And then there is plenty of off-street parking in the public areas and on the street on either side of the building.
Okay. There, we don't, for council's benefit, we don't really have a lot of regulations beyond the parking, which has to follow that of a tavern or nightclub, which is the one off-street space for every 40 square feet of total floor area. And I believe that would be 40 square feet of the area that's going to be devoted to the use. So if part of it is going to remain an apartment,
I'd have to look at the plans. I believe it's like 100 square feet is that room.
okay, and what's the square footage then, the total, if you know, the square footage of the floor area that's going to be devoted to the,
To production of hard cider?
well, and the restaurant area,
Oh,
because you
and the
need that
restaurant.
too.
I know the restaurant right now is 1,300 square feet, but that is, seating plus kitchen, both of our kitchen spaces. I would have to double check our plans. I can see. I think our seating might only be 600 square feet. I actually don't know if that's on these plans.
Okay.
What's the seating is in the restaurant.
Has Mr. Farnsworth looked at the plans for you?
Yes, he has. Yeah,
Okay.
he looked at plans and we talked about the parking. And I think there is parking site plan copy with what we submitted with our blueprints to Jim.
Okay,
And so he said that we had the required parking for the restaurant already because we weren't adding seats.
okay, so essentially then what you're doing is how much are you going to add extra space for the parking? Or for the, to do the hard cider?
The cider, he does not have the exact square footage on this plan, does he?
That's a good point.
Sorry, 93 square feet will be the
Okay.
cider room.
And you know what, I might be wrong on the parking, that, I know that our ordinance, with the off-street parking provisions of the ordinance, do say,
It says it
It says it meets the,
in attachment 3, it says that it meets it.
okay, let's go. Yeah, I know we use the tavern and the restaurant, basis, but if attachment 3 indicates, we do have the memorandum from Mr. Farnsworth. So yes, BC zoning district has 6 off-street spaces, 1 space per 4 seats and 1 space per 2 employees. So, he's indicating that you have the required parking. So, as far as I can see, this meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance. So I would, open up the, questioning to members of council. And if council wants to determine or consider any special conditions, you can place special conditions on the approval of a conditional use. And then we can ask members of the audience if there's anybody who wants to be heard on that issue.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
I have just one question. Looking at the plans, and maybe I'm reading it wrong, I see something marked as trees to be removed, trees to remain, and it seems like there's a bunch of dots. Are there trees being?
Those plans are very old. That was what Jim gave us. Those trees have been removed by
Okay.
by Emmaus. I think I'm not sure what year that site plan is from, but
Okay.
it's before the parking was. I guess there was trees where all that parking is now,
Okay.
and there
Now
was
I
a
see.
plan for maybe like 2 little spots with bench seating that never happened.
Okay.
And now it's all parking. So there are no trees to be removed.
Okay.
I think that might be 30 years
I
old.
just
that
like
plan.
saw
At
it
least.
in there. And I'm
Yeah.
we're trying to
out
figure out where the
They
trees were.
they actually have an initiative where they're adding trees.
Yeah, we are adding trees. We added 5 trees this year, so and we're hoping to add another 10 trees next spring.
Their goal
so,
was to add trees right down
Oh,
Jubilee.
that's great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So.
Okay. Like I said, it just showed it dots and said trees be removed. I'm like,
Yeah, no, not for cider.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Uh,
I have a quick question. Do you foresee any additional employees due to the hard cider production?
Not there.
Okay.
If we
I just-
if we scale up, we'll have more employees to make it in the next location, but not in that building.
I just asked because there's a connection between parking spaces required and number of employees.
I make the hard cider. I've been making it for 3 years, and I'm getting my cider certification in August. So I'll be the cider maker. So.
All right, very good, thank you.
will this be only for in the restaurant, or will you at some point be able to sell for takeout?
Oh, I mean, initially, we'll see how much we sell, if we can, we'll probably do growlers to go,
Okay,
and bottles to go, for different lines that we do, hopefully being able to produce a state cider from certain farms that we work with, so, and doing those in bottles that will be to go.
okay. Any other comments or questions from council?
I just have one comment. I think it's wonderful for economic development that an existing restaurant is diversifying like that. It's very forward-thinking, and it's really wonderful for
Thank you.
Emmaus.
Thanks.
Great. Open it to the
Okay,
public now.
we'll open it to the public again. Is there anybody on the side of the room next to the railroad tracks that wishes to speak, has a question for the applicant, or anything on this subject? Looks like the answer is no. How about on the other side? Yes, sir, why don't you come on up, state your name and your address, and if a comment or a question, and Marguerite can hopefully answer.
I'm Keith Plunkett. I'm at 12th Street, Emmaus. I'm the marketing manager down at Funk Brewing. So we are very excited because we've been working with Switchback since they've been opened. So the more the merrier for us. So Yergis and Triple Sun have brought a lot of business our way, and hopefully we'll do the same for them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else on this side of the room that would like to say anything or has any questions for the applicant? Okay, it looks like the answer is no, and
So at this point, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
we could have a motion to adjourn, yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Anybody with any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes. Special hearing adjourned at 7:17.
Okay, and then we'll take up the vote then in the normal course of the meeting, and then ultimately, it'll be reduced to a written decision as well. So I'm going to sit for a few minutes,
It's
we'll.
on the agenda, I believe.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So now we will have personal appeals part 1. If you have a personal appeal, please approach the podium, sign in, state your name, and you have 5 minutes for your appeal.
We're calling this to order at 7:19.
Oh, yeah, calling the meeting to order at 7:18.
Okay. Again, I'm Keith Plunkett from Funk Brewing. I'm actually here for the Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild. What I'd like to do is propose the 3rd annual Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild Beer Fest to be on October 20th at the Emmaus Community Park. I filled out the paperwork. Actually, Jim Yergi did, but he wasn't able to make it today, so I'm here. And so basically, it's a 3rd annual event. We had it in Easton, Hellertown. This year, I'm hoping to have it in Emmaus. We maxed it out at 500 people. Last year, we had 320. First year was 125. So this year, we're going to max it out still at 500. We are a 501c3. There's 13 members in Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild. And basically, what we use the money for is we are collecting money for basically brewing is a dangerous business, and most brewers don't have insurance. So Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild is putting together kind of a fund for anything that happens to take care of any of our families if they don't have insurance. So I did go down to the site. I know the question's always parking. And I went around, I counted 433 parking spots, and just to be exact. And I do have the site plan if you want to look at it. What I'm proposing is to use the bandstand. We'd have 2 bands. It would be from noon to 5. Since it's October, the bathrooms will be closed. I will have porta potties. We'll have 2 food trucks that are already licensed in Emmaus, and we are a fully insured guild as well.
Okay. Does this get turned over to a committee, Shane?
Well, so we would have put it right over to Parks and Recs, but that committee is going to be canceled this month
Do you want to send it to GA?
because I think we were canceling that committee meeting.
Yeah, because it was right
July.
before
So,
4th of July.
I mean, we could send it over to GA. It's up to you. I mean, we could probably,
Or what?
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, the only thing that's even on the radar on that day would be that that's the day of the Halloween parade, but I don't know it's gonna be done by 5. I mean,
Yes.
are there
yes.
any requirements, security requirements, police requirements?
So if that's what I need to ask you, like, that's up.
No, I mean, anything, like, what were your expectations, I guess, is,
So we are, so we'll have people IDing, so the tickets are pre-sold. Everyone will be ID'd, we're all tip certified, all of the breweries are tip certified, so that means we all go through the training of IDing, and over-serving, so, I personally don't think we need security, but.
we would normally
Yeah.
make.
right, I know
make
that,
sure-
yeah, that's why I wanted to see if they were planning on bringing in some level of security, but any event that has alcohol, we always have had security, and I just know the stress that's put on the police department during that day. Again, we're doing this, it's ending at 5, but, I mean, that's the only thing that I can see is
Okay.
at all problematic.
I mean, I don't know if it would help if we ended at 4 and did an hour earlier, you know,
Well, I wouldn't want to compromise the event. I mean, I guess I'd just bring it up as if you had something, if you said, oh yeah, we've hired such and such security, they're going to be doing this.
Yeah, and I can do that, like, we do have the funds for it, so that's what I mean, you guys tell me if I need to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Barrett, normally our police department handles the security at the park.
Okay, if
Are they
that's,
gonna be
Yeah,
taxed?
do we want to keep that as the only option?
Yeah, I think that needs to stay the only option.
And do we think that knowing, I mean,
Well, that's something that we can work out the details
Okay.
of that. I'll speak with the chief of police tomorrow.
Okay.
Maybe, Mrs. Mayor, maybe you can weigh in on your thoughts on that.
It's going to be difficult to have it the same day as the Halloween parade. It really will be.
So are you okay with them having private security if they were to provide that?
In your
I'd
past
have to
events,
talk
how
to-
many,
I'd
how
have
many
to talk to
security
Chuck.
did you have at Hellertown last year, as an example?
We did not have any police at all at the Hellertown, and I do have emails from the Hellertown Borough Council that they said that there was, you know, we were a pleasure to work with.
It would most likely be our auxiliary police.
R2 or 3. Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, they also work for the parade at the same time,
Yeah.
the same day.
Why don't we handle this in committee level?
Maybe just that piece of it. I mean, I think what they're trying to do is probably, you want to get this thing marketed and moving. And
That's the only reason.
For you to wait
like,
till July.
Well,
you know,
we meet
20th.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Right,
But when's
no,
our
I
next
understand
council
that, but I'm talking about formal approval by council, at least to do the event, because if we wait to approve it, they have to wait until July 16th.
So we can approve it contingent upon,
Yeah, maybe
working the
finishing the
details out.
details,
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah, you can.
So
do
would
that.
like somebody like to make a motion to approve and this is from 12 to 5, if I heard you correctly?
Yes, yep.
Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the event for October 20th from 12 to 5 at the Arts Pavilion at the Community Park?
Contingent upon.
Contingent upon working out the details with security and insurance. So, providing insurance. You said you have insurance,
Yes,
but
yep,
we'll
that's all.
require that.
I think the notification.
Councilman Anders,
I know he said.
are you making the
Well-
motion?
Oh, wait,
No,
he made
no,
it.
I just,
yeah, make the motion and then we'll.
okay, I'll make the motion to.
Is there a second?
Stop there.
Councilwoman McManaman? Discussion.
Okay.
Councilman
Um,
Anders.
I know he said the restrooms he thought was closed. They might be open because of football still playing down there. That
There'd
might
probably be
checking
one
with-
set open,
Yeah, the ones that are usually.
but
up
for
by the
500
football
people at a beer event,
Oh.
you need porta potty.
Gotcha.
I need 16.
Oh, boy.
No problem. I just, you know, with football, I know they usually
Yeah,
have them open.
but there's not 500 people.
Any
at
other-
a
Yeah.
football.
I was just gonna say, I think it would be great to have this event in our town. I mean, even just based on the conversation or the hearing that we had just 2 minutes ago. I mean, you can see all of these pieces come together, the success that you've had, the other breweries, all of that, pulling that in. I mean, we're starting to form an identity to the town, and I think it's very positive. The only question is getting that piece worked out, and it's really just a protocol. We've always had our police do it. it just happens to fall on what is, without question, the busiest day in town for
Yes.
our police. So coming up with a resolve. So, yeah, I'm
The
glad
other
that.
nice
that-
thing is now you have 500 more people to come to the parade.
Yes, all positive. No,
They might be
bring the
stuck
people
there,
to town.
not
Yeah.
by choice.
And just so you know, we've worked with Lyft in the past, so they offer 15% for drop off and pickup, and we provide like a promo code.
Cool.
And I have the numbers I can get to you, but last year was 145 people used the promo code that day, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And just kind of looking at the layout, you know, where the pool circle is, you know, I've done a lot of events, so like I have a site plan if you want to see it. So you know, just thinking of pick up and drop off and that kind of thing, I feel like it's a good spot and we're kind of off the beaten path a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Anything? Anybody else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Good luck with your event,
Thank
and
you very much.
we'll figure out the details on Thursday.
All right, sounds good.
Any other personal appeals? Hearing none. Community minute. Would anyone like to report on, let's see, we had the Flag Day presentation,
I wasn't at that. but
June
this-
14th.
Mayor-
This is
I will.
McMahon.
Madam Mayor?
It was actually a nice event, very nice turnout. 5 of the 6 winners were present. One had planned a vacation, so very nice event. Very well attended. I look forward to next year's. Actually, next year's is their 50th anniversary, so they're going to be doing a big celebration. So it'll be
Nice.
fun.
Great, thank you.
So I do have one thing then.
Councilman Anders?
June 29th at Community Park, rain or shine, the Breakfast Club movie will be played by the Parks and Entertainment Commission. If it rains, it'll be inside the pavilion. If it's nice out, it'll be up on the football field, and it starts at dusk.
A classic movie.
Classic. I think it's 30-some years old. I thought I saw it recently.
Anybody else with the community minute? Councilman
I
Schiffler.
I know the Arts Commission is here. I attended their kickoff at Herbine's for their Best of the Nest art auction. So they're currently running that event till, when does it end? July 1st, okay. And they'll have showings at the Farmers Market 2 more times, right? I think you were there this weekend?
Yeah, so 1 more time.
1 more time, okay. And the information will be up on the website. Sorry about that. It was a miscommunication between us. But the pictures of the birdhouses that you can bid on are on your Facebook, all the photography for that. So, and then I also attended the Funk 5 Miler, right? That was a very nice event. I didn't see you running in it.
I was going to say, did you run?
I didn't, I just watched. But it was a great event. It went off without any problems, and it was great to have that in Emmaus also.
And I just had one other one. There was a great event on Saturday down at the library, if anyone attended. They kick off the summer reading program. My daughter signed up for it. There was lots of kids. They had a couple food trucks there. There was even a softball tournament across the street, so it was very busy down there, but, I mean, everything was controlled. The library did a great job, and they had some food trucks there and everything, so it was good for a good Saturday in the borough.
Anybody else? All right. We have 2 special presentations tonight, starting with the Emmaus Library construction update. I'd like to invite Amy Resch up.
Hello, thank you all for giving me a couple minutes of your time today. So really appreciate the council letting me come talk to you for a moment, and for all your continued support of everything that we do, including our Saturday event, which was, in our opinion, a huge success. So just a couple minutes. I wanted to begin with a statistic. Out of 11,211 Emmaus residents, 6,046 have a library card. So that's 54%. Obviously, we've been working really hard to increase that number by doing outreach and other events to kind of get people to know where we are. Since we're not at the Triangle, we're a little bit further away, but we're making the most of the space that we have. This winter and spring, we had a ton of really great events for kids, teens, and adults. We had our HESES presentation at the Emmaus High School, and we had 120 attendees, which is really wonderful for one of our events. We had great success with our traditional children's events, including steady attendance at story times for preschools, toddlers, and Baby Lapsit. We hosted a teen computer programming series this spring, and we're going to do another series in the summer, and so that has been really popular. We recently upgraded our circulation system to Spark, so that just happened a couple weeks ago. And that's to coincide with our move to become a lending consortium, and that's been something that we've been talking about for a long time, and so it's finally coming to fruition, a lot of hard work. The lending consortium's name will be LCLC, Lehigh Carbon Library Cooperative, so you'll see that name coming more and more prevalent. Early 2019 is when we hope to launch. All 11 libraries that are going to be part of the lending cooperative will be on the Spark system. So instead of the only 90,000 items that are available for checkout in our library, it'll be almost 500,000 items between all 11 libraries. So it's going to be really wonderful, and it's just going to be more of everything. So we're really looking forward to that. So what's next on our radar? Summer Reading Club, the theme this year is Libraries Rock, which is why we had a really wonderful rock party on the lawn, and it was really great. And thank you to council members that did attend. We really appreciate your support. We hosted a live band, carnival games, food trucks, club signups from 11 to 3. We had around 850 kids, teens, and adults attend. So we were really thrilled, considering in the past, one of our largest events was 300 for a kickoff party. So we were really excited to have so many people come. A lot of people already said, so what's happening next summer? So that was really exciting that they're already looking forward to what are we going to continue to do. We continued our partnership with the Emmaus Pool, having the little free library boxes. So if you've been to the pool recently, make sure you check those out near the snack stand. We replenish them every Monday. We also have our monthly table at the Emmaus Farmers Market, and we are continuing our Library Goes to the Iron Pigs night, and this year it will be in August. So it's going to coincide with our next closure for the construction, so we figured that was a good time. Since you can't come to the library, you can come join us at a baseball game. So talking about construction, we are still on schedule to finish October 2018. Foundation has been poured, the steel structure is in place. Parking lot had its first paving last week, so we were really thrilled because a lot of our patrons were unable to get to the building easily, so we were taking people items, you know, to their car and things like that, but it's really a browsing experience at our facility, and I know most of you have been in there. You know that our huge stacks, it's really nice to be able to browse. So we're really glad to have sidewalk permanent and the start of the new parking lot. And we will be having the ductwork and HVAC installed this week and next week. So those are the big things that we're working on. I hope that y'all continue to come by. The library is still open during construction. And the final glass wall will be installed in August. So that's going to coincide with our last closure, because we'll be closed one more week. And the 3 days after we were closed this past time, we had almost 40 library card signups. So we think people really missed us. So that was good. I want to ask you all and the audience as well, if you have any questions for me about library services or the construction project?
Anybody?
Nope. Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for your time, and I appreciate all the support that we have in Emmaus, and thank you so much.
Thank you for the update, Amy. Our second special presentation, I'd like to invite the Emmaus Arts Commission up. They have a Artist Scholarship Award to present.
Good evening, Council. Nice to see everybody again. For those who don't know, I'm Dr. Mike Waddell. I'm president of the Emmaus Arts Commission, took over for Councilwoman McManaman, who's big shoes to fill, believe me. The mission of the Emmaus Arts Commission is to promote the arts and artists in our community. To that end, we have several notable events each year, including the Snow Blast Winter Arts Festival, chaired by Councilwoman McManaman, and in conjunction with that, an art show chaired by Dick Farmer, the photography contest, which I chaired. We had the Rain Barrels auction a few years ago, which morphed into the charity auction, which is now morphed into, as Mr. Shubs just said, Best of the Nest auction, which Lauren Kuhn is chairing, and a student film festival in October, which Mr. Shubs has done, I believe, for 13 years. It's an amazing event for middle school and high school students. Tonight, we are here to present an award to an Emmaus High School student as part of our mission to support the arts and artists in Emmaus. Tara Santora will tell you more and make the presentation. Tara?
Hello, this is Carter. Carter is this year's recipient of the Emmaus Arts Commission Annual Art Award. Carter is a highly talented artist who was this year's recipient of 2 Gold Key, 1 Silver Key, and 1 Bronze Key, and the Scholastic Awards. This fine artist has plans in her future to develop a cartoon idea that has been in development for 4 years. We know Carter has a bright future. We hope that by receiving this award and knowing that the community is behind her in supporting her, that it encourages success in life. So thank you very much for your hard work. And this is for you.
Council permission, we'd like to get a...
Sure, I have some photos.
I think Mom wants to say it.
Oh, Mom wants to say something.
The other thing about Carter is Carter had her tonsils out 5 days ago, so. So we just wanted to say how much we appreciate this. We are very excited for Carter's future, and we are very grateful for, the Emmaus Arts Commission and their support of the art. So there you go.
Thank you.
Carter, what I missed saying was there's a $500 gift card to Amazon to further whatever needs you have. We figured that was the best way for you to handle. Yes, because digital art is all about technology, so that's a perfect way to do that. Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
So congratulations, Carter, and I'd like to thank the Emmaus Arts Commission for doing this. It's fantastic. Just another great thing that they do.
Yeah, she's ready to go. She's not ready to go. Yeah, she's in Nate Brown's seat.
I don't think we're
Shane's ready.
Yeah, my husband in there.
Shane, where's your Nate Brown?
Really smart.
The yellow was approaching.
You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, and you're also more than welcome to leave if you like.
In between the raindrops.
It is pouring right now, if you didn't look outside.
Yeah, I would stay in if I were you.
So next on our agenda is the reading of the minutes. We have the council meeting minutes from May 21st, 2018 that we need to approve. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Questions or discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. We have no decisions on bids. Communications, we received a letter of resignation from Jennifer Henry, resigning from the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. Her term was to expire June 7th of next year. So we always advertise for that because we have many vacancies on that committee or commission. I also received on our desk St. Anne's Annual Fall Festival for September 6th, 7th, and 8th. That will be turned over to staff. They handle that on a yearly basis. And then we also received a letter from Don McGee. It says, "Dear Chief Palmer, the Emmaus Police Department and the Borough of Emmaus Council, I am writing this letter to inform you of my decision to resign as a patrolman at the Emmaus Police Department effective immediately. While serving as patrolman at the Emmaus Police Department, I have achieved one of my lifetime goals. I feel that the training and knowledge I received from the veteran officers has prepared me to move forward with not only law enforcement, but with other aspects of my life. With that being said, it would be beneficial to the department and myself if I were to step down. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of such a strong and dedicated force. Please stay safe, watch out for one another, and continue to be the best police department in Pennsylvania." Signed, Don McGee. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept the resignation? Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Questions or discussion?
I have a quick question. Should this be dated? Is there a problem?
We have it dated in the email
Okay, perfect.
that we
Thank you.
received over the weekend.
Anybody else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Does anybody else have a letter of communication? Go ahead.
I do. It is from the first graders at 7 Generations Charter School, and it's Dear Borough of Emmaus. As part of our first grade, me and my pond unit, our first graders discovered that while there is a trash can at the entrance of the South Mountain Trail, there's not trash cans at the community garden pond area. For their service learning project, the students decided to ask the borough to place a trash can and a recycling can at the pond entrance to help keep that area clear. Attached, you will find student letters, which are really cute, by the way, if anybody wants to look at them, that will explain how they feel and why it's important for the pond garden area. They are recommending that the trash cans be emptied by the borough when they empty the can at the entrance to the trail. So if we could,
Well, we'll send that to Parks and Rec.
Public Works.
Public Works?
Public Works would be before Parks and Rec.
Yeah, since you're not meeting, we'll send it to Public Works. Is that fine, Shane?
Yeah, I need that though.
What's that?
I need that.
Oh, you did?
No, I would like to
Oh,
have
this.
that.
Yes, you may.
Thank you.
Anybody else with communication?
It's all mine. You can't have it.
All right, hearing none. There is no borough engineer's report. Solicitor's report.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. You had your work earlier.
Several unfinished items, so.
Yeah, they're still on the.
All right. So under unfinished business, part 1, we have 4 items, 4 ordinances. We're going to do ordinance 1172, which is the ordinance that we just had a hearing on. An ordinance amending the Borough of Emmaus zoning ordinance, chapter 27, subsection 403.4.d4c of the codified ordinances establishing fence height regulations for nursing homes and other types of facilities housing patients with Alzheimer's, dementia, or other memory impairments. This is our second reading. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1172? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Any questions or discussion? I mean, we pretty much had it at the hearing.
I do actually have one.
Oh, okay.
So let's say that the nursing home closed and went out of business. The height of the fence, if a new tenant came into that property, would the height have to be reduced and it was not the same use?
I would think it probably would. I would assume that, I'm just trying to think what the mechanism would be. And if it's a change of use, there would be a zoning permit. And so I would think that Mr. Farnsworth or the zoning officer, whatever time that would be, would have to look at that and determine whether or not that fence would come down as part of the zoning permit or zoning and certificate of occupancy, whatever the process would be. So this is pretty specific in terms of allowing the fence, but only under certain circumstances. So it's not like it's a non-conform. I don't think it would be treated as a non-conformity or anything like that.
Anybody else? So roll call vote. Councilman Dufresne?
Aye.
Councilman Barrett?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner,
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman,
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta,
Aye.
Councilman Anders,
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg, aye. There are 7 ayes. We have ordinance 1176, an ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending the Code of Ordinances, amending Part 3 of Chapter 1, adding Section G, creating a Community Garden Commission. This is our second reading, and is there a motion to approve 1176? Councilwoman Baumgartner, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Questions or discussion on the Community Garden Commission? Hearing none, this is also a roll call vote. Councilman Dufresne?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilman Barrett?
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Schutza?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. There are 7 ayes. We have ordinance 1177, an ordinance amending Chapter 5, Part 6, Section 601 of the Borough of Codified Ordinances to adopt the 2018 edition of the International Property Maintenance Code as amended through the effective date of this ordinance. This is also our second reading. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1177? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Any questions or discussion on this ordinance? Hearing none, it's a roll call vote. Councilman Dufresne?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilman Barrett?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta?
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
And Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. 7 ayes. We have ordinance 1178, an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Part 2, Traffic Regulations of the Codified Ordinances, adding subsection 15 through 2019, establishing school zones. This is also our second reading. Is there a motion to approve 1178? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Any questions or discussion on this? Councilman Barrett.
I was going to say, I think this is a great addition to promoting safety within the community, especially around the schools. And this was discussed at the public safety meetings that until we get all the signs and painting done, there'll be an emphasis to have this ready for the start of next school year. So the 2018-2019 school year.
Okay. So this fall.
So yeah, to create awareness, we'll try and time it out to be somewhere just as people are starting to think about kids going back to school.
Great.
So does that include painting of like new crosswalks? You just said painting, that was just what I was kind of curious. Are they gonna?
If there are any, I know there was some discussion about if there's anything going to be painted on the actual roads, and then along with the proper signage. So that's what I was referring to specifically.
Right.
But the crosswalks do get repainted
Refreshed.
every year.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? This is also a roll call vote. Councilman Dufresne?
Aye.
Councilman Barrett?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Schubsta?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. There are 7 ayes. That concludes unfinished business. We have no new business, no unfinished business part 2. Items not on the agenda. Anybody have something to bring forward?
When do we?
That's going to go under Gen Ed.
It's going to go under Gen Ed, okay. It'll go under Gen Ed. There we go.
Mayor's report.
Progress.
Committee reports. Public Works Committee Chairman Anders.
Nothing for official action. Our next meeting is July 9th, 2018, here at 3:30, and I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee Chairman Schubsta.
Yes, a few things here. The first thing is we have an opening for the Board of Health. And at our last meeting, we interviewed John Hart, and all of you know we interviewed the gentleman for a council position also. He's interested in stepping into that position for the Board of Health. He's a former administrator for Lehigh Valley Health Network, and he's retired from there. So I would like to make a motion to appoint John Hart to the Board of Health for the term expiring 1/1/2020.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett? Questions or discussion?
Just, would that term be 2020?
Oh, I said 2020. Sorry.
220.
220. 2020.
Sorry.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
And as you can see in your iPads, we have a very short request for bid, refuse and recycling document. All 120 pages for you to read. First of all, I want to thank the committee, and I also want to thank Shane for doing an excellent job putting this together. It's very, very long, very detailed. A lot of
We'll never be
information.
accused of not having enough information in there.
Yeah, yes. With that said, Shane, what would you like to do? Make a
Well, so I would like,
recommendation?
yeah, I would like to have approval to advertise it, contingent upon the solicitor's final review of the bid spec.
So is there a motion to authorize to advertise
I'll make that
contingent
motion.
upon the
Yep,
solicitor's
contingent
input?
on the solicitor.
Councilman Anders, seconded by,
I second it.
Wait,
oh, you
I made the motion.
oh, you made the motion,
Yep.
seconded by Councilman Anders. Questions or discussion on the garbage, the refuse?
He told me
bid?
to have it reviewed by Thursday, so.
All right, all those,
He's
oh.
not answering.
I just wanted to comment for the public. I know there's a lot of questions and answers that we probably don't know until the bids come in. But we put in there many different options for each and any company to come and bid. So hopefully we don't just have the largest of the large, different size companies can bid on different options. And it has the ability to give us many different people to look at the different companies, and we'll see where it brings us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the options they're all over. I mean, we've covered everything, and we've given,
Yeah, our goal this time around was
Was
to try
to-
to put everything we could into this.
oh, and we did. We gave them,
And-
3-day,
I really
2-day,
think
1 day.
there will be a serious debate among the 7 of you once these bids come in. I mean, we'll do the
Correct.
cost analysis on everything and show you, what the cost would be if you chose this option, what the fee would probably translate to the public and all that good stuff. But then you're gonna have the burden, and it really is gonna be a burden because of all the options and all the different choices of figuring out what we wanna do and how you wanna do it.
Okay.
The goal is, the bid opening will be on August 1st. So the goal is for council to make a decision August 15th, whatever that, is that sound right?
Is there a committee meeting before then?
It'll be August 20th. So we'll have to convene at least a special meeting of the committee.
Okay.
If they're not scheduled, which I don't think that they are.
No, not before that.
So we'll have to have a special meeting of the committee to really kind of,
Yeah, kind of go through
deal
this
with all
thing.
those details. And in the meantime, I'll give you guys all the cost analysis and show everything to you. But I would imagine that at that August council meeting, that you'll have some serious discussions about what to choose.
Yeah, and we put a lot of options in this time that we didn't have last time.
Correct.
Like a 1-day event that was
Well,
never part of the spec.
Yeah, and are you willing to pay what they want to charge to do those things? Like one thing that people are very, we did a survey, we had 500 and some responses. I gave you the response sheets. And I would just say, people in town want the hazardous waste event so
Yes.
that they can get rid of oil and different kinds of
Pesticides.
hazard. But are you willing to pay $100,000 for it? I don't know what that's going to come in at, but if
We've never
it's
requested
$100,000, are you willing to pay that? And then those are discussions that you have to have. Or if it's $10,000, obviously it's a different conversation. But until we see those bids, it may change your mind as to what options you're choosing as well.
Yeah.
And there was, speaking of options, and, the question is about trash cans with lids. Did borough provide it? Is it something that down the line could be mandated instead of having bags on the ground? Those are some very tough choices that we're gonna have to make, and listen to the residents as well and see what they would want and what's gonna be sanitary for the town. So those things are in there, not necessarily at that point, but the trash can option, if they're picking them up and, themselves, or how that will go.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot to talk about, so.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. But I mean, I don't think we missed anything, to be honest. I think we tried to give as many different options as we could possibly get, based on feedback that we've had over the years.
Shane, I had the paper copy and I read all 120 pages, and I had sent you some things to clean it up a little bit. Were those all incorporated? Because
Yeah.
I didn't get to go back
Yeah,
and read it.
Absolutely. So I incorporated the changes that you had asked.
Okay.
Nothing. So all the changes that I've made are all grammar type of things.
Right.
Some there's nothing real material changes. Ms. Baumgartner gave me a 3-page list of her English teacher editing, which I definitely appreciated because nobody else caught some of the mistakes that were in there, but she did, and I appreciated it. And quite honestly, I read over this thing 4 times and didn't catch them. So I appreciated that, having that set of eyes and making those corrections. And it's nice to have a person with that kind of expertise looking at documents like that, because it definitely makes us look better when you send out a 120-page document that isn't filled with any kind of grammatical mistakes or things that somebody who wants to sue you because that's what they do to each other in the refuse business catches something that was meaningless because we had a 1 where it wasn't supposed to be or something like that. So thank you for that as well. So thank you to both of you for sending me those changes.
Are we ready to vote, guys? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
So you have that in your email. I need that
Jeff said he's working.
Jeff said,
Thank you.
Okay.
They said he needed it
And I think that pretty much takes care of what we had. As you see in the notes, we did have a survey out to the residents in regards to refuse, and some of the results are in there. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 27th at 4:30 PM. I report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Schupps. The Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
Yes, we met on June 5th and discussed, your notes are attached there, so if you have any questions or concerns, we can address those. We did have a discussion about the playground structures and looked at some of the parks and the equipment that was there. And we did identify Lions Park as being something that might be more of a priority for addressing. And we wanted to discuss the removal of the wooden playground structure. And so you'll see the inspection report attached to your notes.
We don't have to vote on that.
And our suggestion is to remove the wooden structure. There's other elements there that students or the children can play with, the swing set and the, what is it called, the Gaga pit, I think, and the merry-go-round. So we wanted to do that just for children's safety
Okay.
over the summer.
And that will happen soon.
Yes, Mr. Chachala said that his team could get on it. They would be able to take it down today as soon as we approve and give them the okay to do that.
I don't think we need to vote. It's just a
That's
safety
up-
thing being removed.
That's up to you. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
it's just,
you-
he has the
you're-
approval of that.
You're aware of it.
Yeah, we don't need to
Uh,
vote on that. It's a hazard, so.
Okay. And that's essentially the bulk of it. If there's any other questions about, yes.
Just a quick little update since I dropped my daughter off earlier for softball practice. The Public Works did install the scoreboard at the Kiwanis Field down there, I'm assuming today. So thank that to them. I know that was in our notes.
Yes.
So,
Good to hear.
Well, and we're having engineer issues with the other one.
yeah.
We've had to call in a structural engineer. I mean, and that speaks exactly to the point that we've talked about in committee of, we cannot allow organizations just to go and buy things without us being aware of it and approving it first, because this has turned into something that we had no idea of or no plans of spending this kind of money on. But with that said, we're hoping by the end of this week, the engineer will have a review on that scoreboard so that we can move forward. It looks like it's going to have to be attached physically to the building.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's taken on a life of its own.
You mean the poles would be removed?
No, the poles are gonna stay, but we're gonna have to physically attach the back of the scoreboard to the building. That's how large it is. I mean, it's a beautiful
Oh,
scoreboard,
yeah, no,
but it's a very large scoreboard. So it's gonna be a nice addition down there.